women's health decisions are her own. They don't belong to politicians in Washington, D.C., or in state capitals, or in the Supreme Court of the United States. We're not going to negotiate a woman's right to choose.
Well, Democrats are angry over abortion rights, and they are pressuring the White House more than ever to do something about the Supreme Court decision to put the power in the hands of the states. Democrats are losing, though, again on abortion this week. Democrats in the Senate failed yesterday to pass a bill to protect the rights of women to travel to different states to get abortions. Now, Senate and House Dems are united in pushing the White House to declare the U.S. Supreme Court's decision on abortion a public health emergency. The Biden administration is actually considering that now. In focus, Tammy Bruce, Fox News contributor, host of Get Tammy Bruce on Fox Nation. All right, in that order, take us forward. So you've got the Dems with the legislative loss, and now they want a public health emergency declaration.
Yes, everything has to be an emergency, right? It has to be, because then that allows them to do pretty much whatever they want. There is no public health emergency. As a matter of fact, Americans gained more freedom after that decision to reverse Roe versus Wade. It's the 21st century. All kinds of states have all kinds of abilities. Certainly some states, I think, have some draconian laws that now women are closer to their legislators, and they can make those changes. It does not belong with politicians or judges in that regard. It's about the people telling their representatives locally what they want. And that's what we have now. So there's no national emergency. Women can get birth control. Women can access abortions. It's a matter of whether or not they can do so in their own state and to what degree they have to go.
So that legislative loss, just to go back to that for a moment, so technically that's a win for Democrats. I mean, a win for Republicans. What's happening on the Hill?
Well, in this particular case, they want a narrative, and they always have wanted a narrative that this is a danger, that there is division, that you need the Democrats, that something bad's going to happen to you if you don't elect more Democrats. They don't want a solution here. That's, I think, in part why that didn't pass. But also, no one is keeping women from going from one state to another. They're trying to find a way to be relevant and to make it look like they're busy. And to have an impact on reinforcing this idea that everything has gone bad, that you're in danger, we're working hard. None of that is true. Women have power locally in their states. These are national politicians trying to look relevant and doing things that are theater and facilitating that drama narrative.
So the Democrats' argument that it's the economics that may keep women from going state to state. We have the evidence of many corporations jumping on board with each other now to say that their employees will be subsidized or paid for to go get those, to go get abortions or other treatments.
Talk about another violation of privacy. It's none of your corporation's business about where you're going and why you're going there. And shareholders might not like that kind of expensive of money. But what that requires is you telling your employer that you need to go do X. That, of course, is absurd. What we need, once again, the Democrats don't want to do this, is create an economy where women can do as they please because they have the money to do so. They never want to look at that now, do they?
All right, let's get to this. A lot of controversy still brewing and picking up steam involving Los Angeles's woke district attorney, George Gascon. He's taking his fight against enforcing California's three strikes law all the way to the state Supreme Court. And last month, an appeals court ruled that he cannot refuse to charge three-strike cases, which can dramatically increase prison sentences for some of the most serious repeat offenders. However, Gascon calls the law draconian and says it only increases recidivism rates. It comes as Gascon is facing a recall effort. Look, he could get the boot.
He could. San Francisco certainly did that. Americans are sick and tired. California, Southern California, Los Angeles is in a horrible situation now. But he's lying about the three strikes law. I remember that well. 1994, I was the president of LA Now at the time. It was important because it was about such a small percentage of people commit all the crime. It's a tiny, tiny percentage. And they come out and they repeat their crimes. This law brought crime levels down. It made communities more safe. But what it also did is it increased the prison population. So partly this is about money that the state doesn't have, that it doesn't want to spend. They figure you're going to be a collateral damage. Let these people out. The state doesn't have to pay for it. But it also creates more chaos, more tension, where then, law enforcement and government can say, well, you need us because we're living in a Hobbesian reality.
You mean in areas where they've defunded?
Well, those areas, and even where they haven't, whether it's Beverly Hills or the inner city of L.A., downtown, Santa Monica, which is not L.A., but is Southern California, everyone, there's automobiles. Criminals like to travel and go do their bad deeds. So this is, it's hard to believe that people would want to have more death and destruction. But the left requires victimhood. They require chaos, and this delivers it. Keep that in mind. It's hard to believe that this is a thing that this man wants, but it is. It is.
Does he want war? Because that's what we have. We have the crime victims against the criminals who feel so emboldened and entitled because they're being treated that way. That's what we have.
That's correct.
I don't know if war will keep him in office. We'll see for Gascon.
Yeah, it'll be, again, a local decision, which is great news.
And we come full circle.
That's right.
Tammy Bruce, good to see you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.